Hey, welcome back. It's Tikva and Rina here. Today we're going to be talking about
the pressures of camp and the tips that go along with it.
Welcome to the Mommy Life Squad podcast, where we're going to talk about
things that nobody wants to talk about.
All right, I think we can say that camp season officially has started.
That's right.
And there are pressures that come with camp, and there's tips that we want to share. So let's get started.
All right. So I have a daughter who's going to sleepaway camp. I have a son who's going to a traveling / day camp. So it's a combination. And then I have little kids who are going to day camp.
Yeah, so I don't have any kids who are old enough to go to sleepaway camp, but I do have a sister who's going to sleepaway camp, and I went to sleepaway camp myself growing up. So I'm gonna be bringing in things from there.
And your younger kids
my younger kids are just going to day camp,
right,
which thank goodness
it's the easiest of all.
The easiest, and also we really send to like a good camp school system where we don't feel pressure.
Right. So what pressure are we talking about, Tikva? Because I don't think people understand what we're talking about, really.
And I think this pressure just started when your daughter started high school, because again, our school that we send to now, we both send to the same elementary school. We really don't have these pressures of clothing and the way you dress.
I don't know. I did have that a little bit, like in my system, in my school system. I don't know. You didn't have it in Baltimore?
No, I'm talking about our kids, the school that they go to right now.
Oh, so our current school for our kids now, no, we don't have that as much. I think it will kind of grow over time.
Yeah, every kid goes through their
But
thing.
Hold on. We never even discussed what pressure we're talking about. We're making it assume, like we're assuming that you guys understand what we're talking about. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about what we're talking about. So we are talking about the pressures that come with what we have to get to fit in, quote unquote, fit in. And that applies to school also. Like it's like school as well.
But specifically for camp and in general, pressures.
Pressures, right.
What is
considered the norm.
Right.
And that's all relative, right?
Right. And also, I think we've had this discussion before, because Rena will mention that she's bought certain things for her kids. And then I'm like, what? You spend this much money on your kids' shoes or whatever? But she's like, you don't understand. Everyone has these shoes.
Right. And you don't want your child to be the nebuch or the outcast in the class, right? So, but there are boundaries. So, like, I'm not getting everything, obviously, that my kids want or ask for, right?
Right.
So, where do we draw the line? Right.
I feel like everyone has their own line that they have to figure out, like, what is their line?
Right.
And also, they'll probably want a lot more than we give them. Kids always want, and they're never going to stop wanting. You can give them everything and they're still not going to be happy.
They still want more.
They're always going to want more.
Right.
So
I feel like my sister-in-law, for example, has a great balance in place. Like she'll get what she feels is comfortable for her to spend and what is considered normal. And again, that's very relative. So whatever works for her and her husband. But then past that, whatever the kids want, they're paying with their own babysitting money, and that's it, or camp money, whatever it is, however they have money from. But that's I feel like that's a very healthy balance, because you're not splurging on your child, and she'll put her foot down and say, no, this is something like you can pay for on your own.
Right.
And I've done that with my daughter. I actually did that this past week. She wanted to buy this new thing called the 24/6. It's really cool. She actually pre-ordered it because it's just out. And it's like a kosher Spotify. It's like a little MP3. It looks like a little MP3 player. It has all the Jewish music that you can ask for on this device. And it actually has categories. So you could do workout. You could do like Shabbos music. I don't know enough about it.
The camps allow them to bring this.
So actually, it said, Atara was saying that when she unboxed it, it says in there that find out if your camps allow, because most camps don't allow anything, right? We discussed that.
Right.
Most from Orthodox camps camps don't allow.
Right.
Even
a lot of the more modern ones, they don't want the kids on their phones texting all the time, because first of all, it takes away from the camp experience. Second of all, they're not. It's not safe. It's not. I feel like it's a not safe thing, and then the camp has that responsibility for them,
right?
And
for other kids watching it, right? So, so it happens to be that camps are fine tuning this 24/6 and seeing if this is a shayach for their camp and okay for their camp. So they got approved by a few camps, which was really cool. So
it's basically like an MP4 or MP3 player that plays music, and it constantly updates.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
And it's like $10 a month, and the device was $100. So that was something my daughter's paying for on her own, because she already earned everything that she could for camp already,
Right.
Yeah.
It's so funny, but like thinking back, because some moms were talking about it over Shabbat, about the pressures of buying certain things for their kids, certain clothing for their kids, and like the shopping for camp is so stressful because there's just always more to buy. Growing up, I went to Sternberg, shout out to Sternberg, but I went to Sternberg and I went to Walmart and I just bought, and my friends can relate to this. That's the thing.
Wait, so all your friends went to Walmart?
We went to Walmart, we bought t-shirts,
Well, maybe
polos.
you didn't realize that other people were, because I'm sure people
Fine,
were.
maybe like Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch, like those were what was in our days, those polos, they had these polo shirts, but like they were like $20, not more than that. It wasn't expensive.
Okay, so my theory is that there were people who were wearing more expensive stuff and you didn't even realize.
No, it's not that type of camp.
No, you didn't realize.
No, it was not that type of camp.
Because I feel like in every generation there are, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's always
it was Juicy was in back then, but like I guess maybe we just didn't have that pressure and all my friends didn't care for it. Maybe that's what it was.
Right, I remember
but there were other camps. I know my other camps that my friends would go to, other friends would go to, and they did have those pressures. But it obviously depends where you're sending your kid and all that.
Right. And it's definitely evolved over time. We've been becoming in a more pressured, you know what I'm saying? Like state of mind as life goes on. No? Is it just in my head? Like, I feel like because more exposure, so we're having more of those pressures now,
right,
as time goes on.
Well, probably also with social media, like girls are seeing more than we probably wouldn't have seen back then.
And there's a pressure to keep up.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So honestly, like we don't have like much to suggest in terms of like having boundaries for stuff like this.
Well, that's a personal thing.
It's a relative and it's a personal thing, right?
Right. If you're sending your kid to a camp that you know they're all going to be wearing name brands, then it's kind of like you have to. I feel like it's not fair to not get your kids
100%
those name brand stuff,
right?
Because they have to fit in,
right?
And yes, there's always going to be keeping up with the Jones, and you don't want to teach your kids those values of keeping up with the Jones. But if they're in that system and everyone's wearing those same shoes, and they're not, and they're going to be the outcast because of it, it's kind of not fair to them.
It's not fair to them.
So either they just don't go to that camp, or you have to get them those things, right?
Right. And so actually I want to throw in here that I used to work in a school, and I remember there was one student that I used to see who I felt like she was like falling between the cracks. And I remember talking to the school psychologist, and she was like, well, she's not really keeping up with the system. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm a reading specialist, so I had nothing to do with her social situation in the classroom setting or whatever. And this school psychologist said she is not really blending in with the class because of her parents not buying her X, Y, and Z. And she literally labeled all the stuff that everybody else in the class had but her. And when I say everybody, I like they had at least like some percentage of stuff, and she had 0%. So like this poor Nebuch kid, and I hate to say the word Nebuch, but like that's really what she was. She didn't have friends. She was and it's so sad, but she was made fun of because she couldn't afford anything that anybody. I don't know if she couldn't afford or if the parents just didn't know any better and didn't buy her or whatever it is. I had that scenario, and then on the flip side, I had another scenario with a student whose mother they really didn't have money, but they used to save up money just so that they could buy her something small that that other kids in the class had. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they didn't have enough money,
right,
but they would set aside a little bit of money so that they could buy something for her.
Right.
And that I feel like just it's so important for the child. If you're going to put them in that situation, then you really have to like make sure that they're leveling up.
We're not saying buy everything that every kid has. That's not what we're saying. If everyone is wearing a certain shoe in the school or in the camp, it's only fair to. I feel like it's only fair to get it for the kid, right?
Right. And in this situation, I was saying the example. The mom bought the last year's last year's season, so it was cheaper and it was affordable, and whatever it is, what it is. I mean, some girls would cringe at doing that, but at least she was able to have those shoes from last year's season,
right?
So, I mean, I feel like this conversation could go on forever, but I feel like now we can talk about tips to at least be helpful for kids who are going away camp. Yeah,
we could do tips for going away to camp and also tips for day camp because
Right.
I feel like we could always use tips, and we're Mommy Life Squad, and that's what we're all about. We always share hacks, tips, and tricks.
Yeah. That's
so, so
I just invested in packing cubes because Tikva taught me about packing cubes. We were doing a video once. You remember, like a year ago? We were doing a video, and Tikva was talking about how she has these packing cubes, and I borrowed it one time when we went away. I was like, wow, this is a game changer because everything is like, do you guys know what can we talk about?
I feel like most people, a lot of people know what packing cubes
okay.
are, but we could just describe it in short. It's basically like a little container, but it's fabric for your luggage, and you can organize it according to however you want.
Like
but
pajamas in one,
yeah.
your boys' pants and boys' shirts, whatever, in different ones. And I felt like that was the easiest way to pack. And from now on, anytime I ever pack, I always
use packing cubes.
I love it. Yeah,
always. And then also another thing we could add to that is packing cubes. Actually, even if they're fabric, they're a little bit of like a plasticky material, and I have a label maker, and I just print labels for them, and they stick. They actually do stick onto there.
Right.
Even if it's a sticker, it's just because it's like a plasticky material. It's not like a fabric that it actually sticks on. But I also wanted to actually throw something in there for people who are driving to camp. This won't work for people who are flying to camp. When I was in Sternberg, 15 years ago, I don't even remember, probably more than that. But they had, one girl actually did something smart. She put her, instead of like a luggage, I think she also had a luggage, but she had a luggage, and then she also brought a plastic storage. You know those plastic bins, containers that you pull out, like those three ones? And she put all her clothes neatly inside, and she just taped it up. And once she got to camp, she had an extra storage solution because a lot of camps don't have so much storage for the kids.
Right.
And she had her own storage solution.
So Atara my daughter she bought that, but it's like a collapsible one. And then it will open up and like, so she's, she's not going by car, she's going by plane. So this works. And it's not too heavy. We actually have a lot of don't we have a lot of packing stuff in our link tree?
And we have a lot of, because we made a video on that.
Yeah.
But also another thing which I used growing up for when I would go to sleepaway camp was the vacuum bags, because I think we were only allowed like 2 luggages or something. So we had to stick as much as we could and fit as much as we could in this one luggage or duffel. So we used those vacuum bags, and we put like a ton of stuff inside and just vacuumed it out. And they have ones that don't need a vacuum. Also, you could just roll it. So those are also great.
Right. And then let's talk about spending money. So like when kids go to sleepaway camp, I know our camp, my daughter's camp, has like a canteen that you put money in. But I'm wondering how the money is, this is not Atara's first year going to camp, but like how is the money controlled really? So what do you remember in your days?
It's just a trust system. You give your kid a certain amount. This has to last you the whole summer. If not, if you go through it, you go through it. There's nothing you can do. Right.
Okay.
And also it depends on the camp, but they had certain days, like visiting day, if your parents couldn't come in.
I always thought that was so wrong.
What,
I
visiting
don't know.
day?
Yeah, because like Nebuch, those kids who didn't have parents who were able to fly in or whatever, it's like such a tease.
Right. For us, it was a 6-hour drive, so it was hard for my parents to come in for visiting day. It was one day. And by the time they would come in that morning and leave that night, it wasn't worth it. So they do an activity.
But parents would fly in for this even.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
100%.
Okay, it's one day. I don't know. I don't see the need, but they just had an activity for that day for those kids. We went to Walmart.
That's so sad. That is so sad. I don't know. I don't know. In my daughter's camp, a few moms had to fly in because it was far away. I don't know. I just feel like it's just.
Are you going to fly in?
No, I'm not going to fly in.
Okay. So you feel bad for it?
I don't know. Actually, we didn't even discuss it. I hope they don't have visiting day, but I think they do. Watch me fly in now. But that's such a pressure for moms. I don't know. I feel like it's so.
Well, listen, I feel like a lot of the camps are based in upstate New York, and a lot of the people who go to the camps are from New York. So it's a 2-hour drive. It's not even so far. It's like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive to the Catskills. It's a fun Sunday activity. That's why I think they do it. They're not thinking about all those people who have to come in from Los Angeles, Chicago, like all these other faraway states.
Places, yeah. I don't know. I just feel
so
like
if you're not going for visiting day, you send extra money because they go to Walmart and they're going to want to get some extra stuff and make themselves feel good that their parents didn't come.
Right. Well,
start guilting you.
Something new to me though is the gift box thing. Like I remember when Atara was in camp, she would call me and she'd be like, "Ima, when is my gift box?" I'm like, "What gift box? I don't even okay, let me just give you a little bit of background. Tikva's talking about her camp. I never went to sleepaway camp. I didn't even go to day camp. Like we did really? Yeah, it's
no
really
day
sad.
Camp, nothing?
I don't think this is the right place to talk about this. It's more like in a therapy session. Unfortunately my parents were like, immigrants and they didn't know any better, so like they didn't send us to camp. No, but we did really nothing. Like,
okay, let it out.
Yeah. We did Kuman. Do you know what Kuman is?
Yeah, but that's not camp.
No, it's not camp. And we were so excited. It was like Never, we really went to like do math homework. That's what we did, but we didn't know any better. I mean, we had friends obviously who went, and we didn't complain because we were just happy to be out of the house. We were like, our standards were so low that like nowadays when my kids are like, I want to go here, I'm like, do you know what I did? And they're like, oh, Ima, like it's really sad. But yeah, we wouldn't do any of this. So I don't even know what like a gift box, like when my daughter called me for a gift box, I'm like, what are you talking about?
They actually had it in our days too. It's just like a letter that they send in with candy and
oh my gosh
stuff.
Oh
and my sister even asked for it before she went to camp, and before she left, she's like, make sure to send me a gift box. I want a gift box. Well, it's also kind of like the norm. Everyone gets it. Like my mom would also send it for us just because like everyone does. They send pictures, they send notes, letters, and then they put like candy inside, lots of candy.
Okay, I'm sorry, but like it's a month or max 2 months. My daughter happens to be going away for 5 weeks. Not a big deal.
Oh, hers is long. My sister's is 3 weeks.
And you're still
5
sending in
weeks?
stuff? Come on. Like, I don't know. Like, get it together. Like, you're
It's fun.
fine.
It's really exciting. I know. I went to camp. Rena didn't go to camp. I went to camp. It's really fun and exciting to get something. People get homesick. The girls get homesick, and it's like
Really?
a small
I don't
thing that
know.
comes from home, and it makes them like feel like their parents love them.
I get it. I guess I'm for sure going to have to do it, but I'm just saying, like, I just think it's so silly. Like, it's not that long. You're not going away for that long.
Well, she's going for 5 weeks. That's really long.
Yeah? I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay. Anyway. Okay, I guess I'll do that. Also, it's kind of like, remember we went to seminary and, like, that's the same idea, but that was a whole year.
No, it's very different. Yeah, it's a whole year. That's very long.
Also, do you remember when all the parents would come in for, like, different times during the year? So, I don't know. My parents happened to have come in to Israel, but like it was such a norm for parents to come in to visit their kid in seminary. Was it
Yeah,
like
and
that in
also
your
to
days?
they would also take out all their friends.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, my parents didn't do that, but they did
Yeah.
visit me, which I'm really grateful for.
Yeah.
But it was also like the norm that they would take them out to like ice cream.
Some
or
things just
to-
become a standard. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it became, and I went to seminary years before you did, and
Yeah.
it was even back
Back
then.
then was.
That's crazy. I don't know. All these have to do with like what you're comfortable with and what's considered normal in your, you know,
in your circle.
In your circle.
That's what it really comes down to.
Right.
All right, so we spoke about our sleepaway camp tricks, and now let's talk about some day camp tips and tricks. So one thing that's new for Rena and I is our school actually provides hot lunch and camp doesn't. So we are going to have to pack
Figure this out, right?
lunches. Our kids are also, they got spoiled. They're used to hot warm
lunch,
lunches,
yeah,
and now
That's amazing. So now we have to think of like, I don't know, what are we gonna do? Bagel and cream cheese, pasta and cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the key here is actually just having a schedule. Like every Monday you have a pizza. Every Tuesday you have whatever.
Schnitzel or whatever.
Whatever your kid likes.
So, and my kids are really picky. So if like I send them schnitzel and it's not hot, they're not gonna touch it. So that's a little complicated. Or grilled cheese sandwiches. They want it to be hot. It's really, I don't know. I guess they got used to the hot lunch that they got.
They got used to it. Our kids got spoiled. That's what it is. Our kids really got spoiled in that sense because they're just so used to all their food always being hot. But in the beginning of the summer, I remember like the first week, my daughter kept complaining, everything's cold. I'm like, sorry, this is the reality. And then they just got used to it. They had no other choice. But they do have like the thermal, on Amazon, they have like the thermal soup containers if you want to send soups and stuff like that. That do stay warm. Like they're really good. They stay warm throughout the whole day.
Right.
Which is great.
And then as far as snacks, like, I don't know, my kids would always complain that their strawberries got hot and yucky or their bananas gross. Like, I mean, they complain about that all year round, but even more so in the summer when it's hot. So I started to buy like dry fruits, like those, it's all natural. So it's just a dry fruit.
Right. My kids don't really like dry fruit.
They don't like
won't
that?
work. But I do really like, we have Smart and Final here, but I feel like any store has it, and Amazon probably has them too, is just the disposable clear containers, and I put like a whole bunch of fruit inside of that.
But it doesn't get hot and yucky?
It's different because it's in a container. When it's in a plastic bag, it gets like smushed and like it gets smushed with the other food inside the water bottle. So when it's in a container, it kind of stays.
It looks nicer.
It looks nicer and it stays fresher, I guess.
Okay, that's an idea. And then like other snacks, what other snacks? Like basic snacks, right? Like you're not doing any.
I always do like a fruit, a vegetable, and I always pack more snacks for camp because they're starving. They're always starving. You have to think about it. They're running around, using more energy. And these camps, oh my goodness, I'm shocked by how many trips they do.
Yeah.
My daughter is 6, and they do a trip every other day. And
twice. So
we did not have that growing up.
Twice a week, and then they also do like a whole show on the other days, like a big stimulating show.
Yeah, they have a lot. It's like very overstimulating if you think about it.
And then when they come home cuckoo.
Yeah.
Like they're really, like my kids are a mess. So what I do,
I don't remember this. I really don't remember.
You don't
I
remember?
don't remember last summer.
Oh my
I totally
God.
don't remember
No,
last
because
summer.
you probably blocked out because it was that bad. But for me, it's like when the kids come home, like it's
But that's
like
during the school year too. My kids come home from
a
school
mess.
a mess.
Okay, I guess they're stimulated.
And
all
it's
year
Tuesdays, by the way. I don't know. Tuesdays, there's something wrong with Tuesdays.
round. Not Mondays.
No, it's a Tuesday thing.
Okay.
Tuesdays, my kids are, oh my gosh, today's Tuesday.
So figure out, maybe she has like an extra computer class or something
I don't know what it is. All my kids, they
So
all
funny.
are cranky.
on Tuesday. That's funny. It's probably the hot lunch. But my kids, like every summer, I think summer is exceptionally harder for me. And like the kids come home very, very stimulated. They're hot. They're under the sun. Let's say they're at Knott's Berry Farm. They're standing under the sun for 8 hours, whatever.
Knott's Berry Farm, for anyone who doesn't know, is an amusement park.
Yeah, and they're waiting in lines, whatever it is. They're not hydrated enough. They come home super, super cranky. I always try to have something ready and hot for them to eat. Also, another thing I try to do is to put on relaxing music, and they sit and read. They're not allowed to do anything. I don't take them anywhere after school. Usually, they're
After
just
camp.
like after camp. They're just like relaxing.
But I feel
and
like this
reading.
is probably such a good tip is to like make a smoothie before you pick them up.
Yeah,
Like
oh,
even
yeah.
getting frozen, what I do is I get frozen fruit from, I mean, you can get it from the Jewish stores, but they're just a lot more expensive, especially here in Los Angeles. But from like Smart and Final, they have OU mangoes and strawberries and blueberries, and everyone has their own hashgacha like standards. But we just make a smoothie before you pick them up and bring
Yeah.
it to camp and letting them just drink that and cool down.
Oh, you bring it in your car?
Yeah, you just get those to go smoothie cups.
Oh, I hate my car getting messy.
Yeah, no, I do because it saves you because when you come home they're refreshed.
Okay, that's something I don't like. But Tikva doesn't like bathing suits. So let's talk about that. Like my tip, I told the camp, I'm like, do not send home their bathing suit every day. Like I don't want to see it. Keep it there for the whole week, and they'll use it. I mean, they're swimming twice a week. But Tikva's like she wants to wash it every.
I want to
single
wash
time.
it. You don't know. I don't know. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. I don't know what's happening in those pools. Come on, like the kids pee in there. I wanted to come home so I could wash it.
So for the older kids, there's chlorine in the pool.
It's convenient. Yeah, it really is convenient that they. Yeah, but the older kids, you're right, because there's chlorine, so it's fine. But the younger kids, they don't put chlorine in that water.
I still don't care.
And that water is like reused,
No,
probably.
I literally don't
Like
care.
they don't change it every day.
No,
You
I
think
don't
they
care. Still don't care.
You'd
Yeah.
be okay with them just leaving it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll wash it once a week on a Friday. I don't want to see their big bags or like at the end of the year when they come home with all that stuff. Like I feel like they do that every camp day.
It's a load of laundry every day.
Yeah, I
literally.
just don't like it. I don't like seeing all of it. It's just a mess. So I like when they keep it there. And you could actually suggest it because I think a lot of camps will do it if like parents want it.
Right.
I think like parents like Tikva who don't want it, they'll send it home. Do they send it home for you every time?
No, I just whatever. So our camp happens to be they do leave it there, which I'm okay with, but I just like I don't know, something about it grosses me out.
Let's talk about like smart tags. What were we going to say about smart tags?
Oh, so now let's talk about like when a lot of parents get nervous, especially with the younger ones. And this was me last year. My daughter was in pre-1A going into first, and she was finally starting the big girls camp, and they go on big trips. They do go on big trips, like Knott's Berry Farms. And I don't know, I just got nervous. First of all, she didn't even fully know like numbers then to like call me if something happened. She didn't know. Like even though I like a million times tried telling her, what's my phone number? Sing it to me. We made songs, whatever. She just wasn't there yet. So it got me so nervous that she was going to like a big trip and she's just so little. So two things so one thing which is kind of a joke, but it doesn't need to be a joke. It could be serious. Like it's those Apple AirTags. You could throw it into their knapsack or their bag that they carry around with
I've
them.
heard people throw it into their shoes.
Put on their shoes. That's like if you really want to go to the next level. And you could track them on your phone. I feel like that's gonna like feed into the anxiety and make you more nervous. So that's why I haven't done that. But the other option, which I like, and I have to get it this year, and I keep saying I'm gonna get it, is on Amazon. They have these like disposable ID bracelets, and when you can manually like write your phone number, or the counselors could write their phone number on this bracelet, so that God forbid if they get lost, there's a phone number there. I think it's an allergy bracelet.
Oh wow, okay.
But you could use it for. Instead of their allergy, you just use it for their phone number. And I'm sure they even have phone number bracelets on Amazon. But I feel like that's like a good hack / tip.
Right. And then I always have sunscreen in the car, of course, because as you're dashing out the door to be on time for camp, you're forgetting to spray all your kids down. I happen to like the chapstick one for the face. Have you seen those?
Yeah, those are really cool.
Yeah.
There's one that looks like a chapstick, but it's sunscreen.
Right.
But it's bigger. It's like a bigger tube.
Right. And then I saw a hack where you could use those like what is it called? Like when you put on your foundation, those little like sponges. So you could use that to spread it around your hair. I think that's messy. I like the chapstick. It's just much easier. You just like spread it all over their face. But always keep a sunscreen in your car. And of course, give one to the school so they have it with your name, with your child's name on it.
And just leave it there. It's just that's easier. Just like it's another thing for them to schlep home and schlep back. It's not even worth it.
Right. And then another thing, I know we're kind of all over the place with this talk here, but when they get back home and they are like totally cuckoo, finally getting them down to bed, like after relaxing.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because my grandmother always tells me, like, I feel like Persians aren't so into like bedtimes and sleeping at a certain time. But my grandmother always asked me, like, how do you get your kids to sleep at like 7 o'clock or 7:30 or 8, whatever, in the summer?
Yeah, when
it's so light out. Well, the trick is blackout shades.
Yeah,
blackout curtains. And there's ones on Amazon I really like. They're like regular curtains.
That's also in our bio, right?
We put that in our link tree.
Because they work very well. I mean, your room is literally pitch dark, so like
with blackout curtains and sound machine, they're not hearing anything.
They're knocked out. Yeah.
And they're tired. The camp day is really long.
Right. But they could be overtired, which makes them not want to sleep.
Right.
That's also hard. Anyway, that was a great schmooze, right, Tikva?
Yes,
great schmooze.
Definitely.
And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening in.
Thanks for tuning in to our Mommy Life Squad podcast.
And stay tuned for the next episode.